Hello everyone, I'm Suraj. As this is the day 14 of my training session, and I've got a couple of questions in the form of assignment. So let's just quickly dive into it. So the first question here is, when do we perform regression testing, and what are testing artifacts or deliverables for tester before production release? So let us try to understand what is regression testing first and when it is performed. So regression testing is done when a developer will basically push the code to the QA server, and here the testers will be testing each and every feature. Say for example, a developer has been developed F1 feature. So at the first sprint, he'll be testing the F1 feature. And similarly, F1, F2, F3, and say for example, F4 feature is being developed, and these are being tested by QA in the QA server. So once these all features are moved to done, so it doesn't mean that testers will stop the testing process here itself. It means that they'll be testing when it is integrated, or say for example F1, F2, F3 features are integrated together. Then they'll be checking whether integrating each and every feature are not brought up some new bugs, or maybe some new changes in the UI, or maybe in the functionality. So then they will be doing the regression testing. So the next part of the question is, what are the testing artifacts or deliverables for testers before production release? Note, the sign off email, then the regression testing report, then similarly the test case, test plan, and the requirement traceability metrics report. These can also be considered as deliverables. So let's move on to the second question. Explain the step-by-step product development process. So here in the product development process, firstly, the client will be having some idea, and he will be consulting it with the software company, where the software company and the client will sign an agreement. Then the software company will assign a business analyst who will be particularly a domain expert. He'll be going to the client, he'll be collecting the requirements, or he'll be doing the requirement gathering. Then he'll be returning to the company and conducting a feasibility study, which will be basically a meeting between developers, testers, maybe the UI UX designers, or then the project managers. So they will be deciding the technical stack part of it. So after that, the designs or the UI UX designers will be designing the software, maybe by using some tools, maybe by using Figma. So, and the next role is played by the developers, where the developers will be starting with the coding part. On the same time, here the testers will be writing the test cases. Once the developers are uh, moving the code to the dev environment and then to the QA environment, where the testers will be testing according to the test cases written by them. So once the testing is also done, so once the software is looking good, they'll be going and installing the software. So once after the installation, they'll be doing the maintenance part as per the agreement. So this is the product development process. So let's move on to the third question, which is, what are some of the reasons of missing a bug by the testers? So there are many ways where the tester can miss the bug. The main reason can be the time pressure. Say for example, there is a urgent release or the next day release, and they are not getting the time to make a code freeze, and they are not able to test the particular build. So this can be a reason. Then the next reason can be the tester is not including, or he is not attending the meetings with the clients, where he'll be updating some requirements or some features, where he'll be explaining each and every features which he needs. So maybe ignoring the meetings, testers can miss. Then the testers, if he's not communicating well with the developers or with the client, so this can also be a reason. Then I can say a main reason, which is assumptions. So the tester should never make some assumptions. They should just contact with the developers or maybe the client. Say for example, if they have seen a contact us button in a particular application, and they are considering it as they'll be integrating some information in that particular button, but in the Figma or in the design part, they have not mentioned the button. So if we are assuming that this will be done in future, so it may be very hectic or maybe very complex when it is released in the production. So we should be reducing it in the testing itself. So moving on to the last question, what is a release note? Explain with the help of an example. So release note is basically a artifact or deliverables for the testers before production release. So they'll be sending a document which will be consisting of the enhancement made, maybe the new features which has been implemented, then the bug fixes which has been done, and lastly the build version. Okay, so let us consider the same with an example. We'll take, for example, Instagram. So the enhancement made in Instagram may be like if someone is forwarding some memes or some post, so it is having a minimum count, say for example 4 to 5. Only they can be forwarding to 4 to 5 people at a go. So they had made an enhancement like they can forward to infinite number of peoples in their contact list. So this might be the enhancement. Then maybe the bug fixes can be like if some feature was not working, that functionality they have made working. So that can be the bug fixes, and the new features, maybe some reels was a new feature which was being implemented. So this can be the new feature. So in that release note, these everything will be mentioned in a line. So thank you so much.